Good morning. This is Viola Ignites, and today is day 10 of 28 Sparks to Catch Fire. And we've been talking about courage this week, and particularly yesterday and today, we're talking about the reality that we need to confront fear. All right? Because when fear is defined, when you define fear, you can defeat fear. So the way to defeat fear is by making sure you've defined it. It's clear to you what the fear is about. So let's just jump in. Let's dig in and let's go. So we're exploring today this concept of you can't fight what you can't name. All right? You can't conquer what is going to remain vague, what stays vague and overwhelming and undefined. You can't conquer that. It has to be really precise. It has to be really clear to you what it is that is your enemy. And I wanna submit to you today that your fear has power over you because it's hiding in the shadows. Actually hiding in the shadows of your mind, and the more it hides in the shadow of your mind, it grows bigger, it grows scarier, and it's going to keep growing until you confront it. But when you're able to name it, when you're able to drag it to the light and look at it directly, your fear shrinks. It will literally shrink before your eyes, which is why I keep encouraging you. Take that thought out of your mind, write it down, read it. Because just think about it. You're removing it from your mind, you're writing it down, and you can read it. You're confronting it. So number one tip here, do not let your fear stay vague. Okay? I'm scared. Okay, what am I scared of? It's too vague for you to just be, I am just scared. Like that. You can't do much with that, right? And you can't work with that, right? So actually, let me kind of show you what I mean by this, right? So a vague fear could be, I'm scared to start my business, right? When I'm asking you to name your fear, what that will look like is, for example, I'm scared that if I launch my business, I'm going to spend money to launch. And I'm afraid that if nobody buys, I'll look foolish to everybody I've told I'm going to start the business. Okay? So that's a named fear. You see the difference, the contrast that I'm trying to strike up here for you? Okay, I'm scared of starting a business. It's very different from, this is why I'm scared of starting a business. And that's what I'm saying. When you name the fear, you can address it. Okay? Okay, you can, in the same example, you could basically address it like, okay, so I'm afraid of losing money, but how much would I actually invest? Like, how much would I actually lose? And then maybe you do the math and it's like, I don't know, $500. Could I survive losing $500? And if the answer is yes, okay. Now you can sit with that. All right. So I'm afraid no one will buy. Okay. But what if one person buys? Would that be worth it to me? Now you might land on probably, right? I'm afraid of looking foolish. Okay. To who? People I would never see again? People whose opinion really doesn't matter? Like, so the point I'm making here is when you name it, all right, when you name the fear, when the fear is not vague, you realize that a lot of your fear is kind of imaginary. It's kind of like, it's imaginary, right? It's a big monster that's a shadow in the dark. And I think, like, since we're talking about fear this week, and I mentioned to you that we're going to review some of the Stoic philosophies, the Stoics actually taught it this way. They said, you have to separate what you can control from what you can't control. All right. So, for example, you can't control whether or not people are going to buy, right? You can control if you will market it and let them know that the product or the service is available, right? So you can control whether you make an offer. You can't control whether a person is going to judge you or how a person is going to judge you. But you can control whether you let your judgment stop you, right? Whether you let your judgment stop you. So when you name the fear, you can control, you can separate the real from the imagined. You can see it for what it is. All right? You can see it for what it is. And when a fear is clearly defined, that's really the best and the easiest and the fastest way to defeat your fear. All right? So I want you to look at the fear that is the biggest fear of the season. Okay? Name it. Kind of just follow what I'm saying here and use the framework, right? Let me lay it out for you. Number one, what am I actually afraid will happen? Not, I'm scared to publish. Like, what am I specifically afraid of? All right? What am I specifically afraid will happen if I did, in fact, publish, right? So it could be, I'm afraid people will think it's bad literature. I'm afraid I'll feel embarrassed. I'm afraid, whatever it is, all right? Name it. Number two, what's the worst case if that happens? Like, what's the worst case if somebody leaves, I don't know, a mean comment, a nasty comment, right? Or if somebody gossips about my work, or if nobody reads it at all. Like, what's the worst case? Ready for number three? Number three, could I survive whatever the worst case is? Yes, I've survived worse before, right? A mean comment will not kill me, right? No one reading my work will not kill me, right? So what is the worst case? All right. And will I survive the worst case? Number four, what is the best case? What is the best case, right? So the best case could be someone reads it and it helps them. It encourages and blesses them and strengthens them. Maybe I get one client from it. Maybe I build momentum through it. What's the best case? Now, number five, what is the likely case? All right. So maybe the most likely case is a few people read it, right? Some like it, some don't like it. And then what? Life goes on, right? And I will build confidence by doing it. I'll build momentum by doing it. I will perfect my craft by doing it. All right. I think when you go through these 5 steps, you'll see how so many of what is a big fear will just like lose its grip, its chokehold on you. And I think it works because, you know, vague fear will paralyze you. But when you name fear, I think it's something you can strategize around, right? And in fact, research backs this up. Studies show that when you write down what you're afraid of, the anxiety really decreases. It decreases, research says, sometimes by up to 50%. Why? Why does it decrease? Because naming it makes it manageable, right? Naming it makes it manageable. Naming it is a form of having dominion over it. It's a form of having dominion over it. And so we definitely want to make sure that we can name our fear and not be vague about it. We want to name our fear. All right? So here's your spark for today. Take the fear that you wrote down yesterday, and if you're following this series, you assessed and pinned down your greatest fear of the season. And if you're not following this series, we're talking about day number 9 of the series. The fear you wrote down yesterday, or the biggest fear you have in this season. All right? I want you to take that same fear and I want you to run it by these 5 steps that I've just described. All right? Run it through these 5 questions. Okay? And write it out. Write it out. All right? Write it out. Don't just think about it. Write it out. All right? Because when it's on on a screen in front of you or a piece of paper in front of you, you will see it for what it is. And that's the whole point of the exercise. That's the whole point of our conversation here today. The whole point of this is to be ignited into action, into bold action, we need to confront our fears that have kept us inactive. We need to get curious about our fear. We need to interrogate our fear, interview our fear, all right? Ask better questions. What exactly am I afraid of? What am I scared of? Where did this fear come from? Why is this fear, why does it have me in a chokehold? Is this fear based on evidence? Is it based on my imagination? Is this fear projected on me by my surroundings, my past, my family, my friends? And I just want to say to you, here's the truth about fear. You can't treat fear like it's your pet. Don't pet fear. Don't befriend fear. Don't make peace with fear. Fear is never your friend. Fear is never ever your friend. Fear is always a foe. And a foe that does not come alone. Fear will bring anxiety with it. Fear will bring self-doubt with it. It will bring guilt. It will bring shame. So you must confront fear. You must confront it. You must name it. You must be determined to burn it out of your life. You must make sure that you're not embracing fear and making it feel welcome in your life. Because here's what fear cannot do. Fear cannot compete with a person who knows who they are. A person who knows whose they are. And a person who is clear about where they're going, where their life is going. So who are you? Whose are you? The more you can answer that question and keep answering that question, the more fear loses its grip on you. And I just want to remind you, your life has weight. You're living, you're thriving, you're being in full bloom. It's going to be evidence for somebody else's journey, somebody else that needs to put on the cloak of courage. So don't waste any minute in terms of dealing with this. All right, I'll stop here. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about courage as a verb. Same time, same place. Let's catch fire together. Let's catch fire together. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, for sharing, for subscribing. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you.